The shadows stir with anticipation. Void of Fears now stands merely 500 subscribers away from our 10k milestone. I never imagined so many would willingly step into the darkness with me. Your support, every subscription, every like, every comment, has fueled something beyond understanding. We're so close now. The entity that watches over this channel trembles with anticipation as we approach the threshold we've sought all year. To those who've joined our communion of fear, thank you. To those just finding us, welcome. The void has been waiting for you. The void of space stretches out before me like an endless sea of black velvet, pinpricked with the cold fire of distant stars. I'm Captain Ronan Drake, and for 15 years I've navigated the depths of our solar system and beyond. I've faced solar storms that could incinerate our vessel in seconds, gravitational anomalies that warped both space and time around us, and the crushing isolation that comes with being millions of kilometers from home. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared me for what awaited us on this mission. The Obsidian Wraith hums quietly beneath my feet as I stand on the bridge, her vibrations familiar as my own heartbeat after all these years. She's humanity's pinnacle achievement, an experimental stealth vessel equipped with revolutionary, phase-shifting technology that bends light and radiation around our hull, rendering us invisible to all known detection methods. At least, that's what the eggheads at Terran Space Command promised when they recruited me for this mission. "It's perfect, Drake," Admiral Reinhardt had said during my final briefing on Lunar Base. His weathered face had been uncharacteristically animated as he described the ship's capabilities, the culmination of 50 years of stealth research. Not even our most advanced sensors can detect her when the phase shifters are active. I'd been skeptical. In my experience, nothing was ever as perfect as the brass claimed, but I couldn't deny the allure of commanding such a vessel, of making history. The year is 2187, and we're farther from Earth than any human has ever ventured, beyond Proxima Centauri, beyond the comfort of our familiar stars. Our destination, Kepler 438c, a lush exoplanet teeming with life. But not just any life, intelligent life, the kind that builds cities, communicates through technology, and might not take kindly to unexpected visitors. I gaze at the planet on our main view screen now. From orbit, it's breathtaking. Oceans of deep purple rather than Earth's blue. Land masses in shades of amber and russet. Swirling cloud formations that move in patterns unlike anything we've seen before. Beautiful, alien, and absolutely terrifying in its implications. "System checks complete, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Iris Vega reports from her station. Her dark eyes reflect the ambient glow of the console. I've served with Vega for 7 years. She's brilliant, methodical, and unflinchingly honest, which makes her an ideal second in command. Stealth systems functioning at optimal capacity, all signatures suppressed. As far as anyone down there is concerned, we don't exist. "Excellent," I respond, settling into my command chair. The familiar contours comfort me, though nothing else about this situation feels routine. "Maintain orbit at current altitude. Let's see what our new neighbours are up to." Around me, the bridge crew work with practiced efficiency, though I note the tension in their movements, the occasional wide-eyed glance at the view screen. They feel it too, the weight of this moment. We are making history with every breath. This mission is unprecedented, the first human surveillance of an advanced extraterrestrial civilization. We're here to observe, document, and evaluate, nothing more. Our orders strictly prohibit contact. We are ghosts watching from the shadows, gathering intelligence that will shape humanity's approach to a universe we now know with certainty contains other thinking beings. I activate my personal log, speaking softly as the recording begins. Captain's log, day 1 of observation. After 3 years in cryosleep, we've arrived at Kepler 438c, Initial scans confirm the presence of an advanced civilization. Their technology appears to be approximately 2 centuries ahead of our own, based on energy signatures and structural complexity. No signs they've detected our presence. The crew is performing admirably, despite the psychological impact of our discovery. This changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. End log. That last statement, no signs they've detected our presence, would prove to be our first mistake, one of many. The memory of that first day haunts me still. The confidence in my voice, the excitement of the crew. We were making history, pushing the boundaries of human exploration. None of us suspected we were sailing into the jaws of a predator. Commander Alexei Petrov, my second-in-command and oldest friend, joins me on the observation deck that evening. His weathered face carries the same quiet intensity it always has during our 15 years of service together. We met as cadets, survived the Europa crisis together, and have been inseparable since. There's no one I trust more with my life or the lives of my crew. Beautiful, isn't it? He says, gesturing towards the alien world below. The night side of the planet glows with sprawling networks of light, cities spanning continents, oceans illuminated by what appear to be floating structures. The patterns are mesmerizing, like nothing we've seen on Earth or any human colony. It is, I agree, taking a sip from my coffee mug. The observation deck is my favorite place on the ship. A semicircular room with floor-to-ceiling viewports that offer an unobstructed view of space. During normal missions, I come here to think, to find perspective when decisions weigh heavily. Now it offers the most breathtaking view in human history. And terrifying. He raises an eyebrow. Second thoughts, Ronan? I shake my head, running a hand through my short-cropped hair. Not second thoughts, just humility. We thought we were alone, or at least the most advanced species in our corner of the galaxy. We built our identity around being special, unique. Now look at that. I point to the planet. Everything we know about ourselves, our place in the universe, it all changes today. Alexei nods solemnly. History never feels historic when you're living it. We stand in companionable silence, watching the play of lights across the alien world. After a few minutes, he speaks again, voice thoughtful. You know what I keep thinking about? My grandfather. He was born when self-driving cars were still new technology. He lived to see the first Mars colony, from horse-drawn plows in his Russian village to interplanetary settlement in one lifetime. Alexei's eyes remain fixed on the planet below. I wonder what he would make of this, of us standing here, looking at an alien civilization. He'd be proud, I say, and probably terrified. As are we all. Alexei claps me on the shoulder. Get some rest, Captain. Tomorrow we make first contact. Observation only, I correct him automatically. No contact. He smiles faintly. In my experience, history rarely follows protocol. How prophetic his words would prove to be. The alien civilization spread across the planet's surface in elaborate patterns. Their cities weren't constructed as much as they were grown. Massive bioorganic structures that pulsed with internal energy, connected by thread-like transportation networks that glowed blue-green against the planet's lush landscape. Our observation begins in earnest the following morning. The ship's advanced sensor array captures terabytes of data every hour. Atmospheric composition, energy signatures, communication patterns. We establish a geosynchronous orbit over what appears to be the largest population center, a sprawling formation that covers an area roughly the size of North America. Their architecture defies our understanding of structural engineering. Dr. Elias Mason, our chief xenobiologist, explains during our first briefing. His weathered face is animated with excitement as he manipulates the holographic display at the center of our conference room. These structures appear to be semi-sentient, responding to the needs of their inhabitants. I study the high-definition imagery captured by our advanced telescopic array. The alien structures remind me of massive coral formations, but with an unsettling precision that suggests intelligence behind every curve and spiral. The buildings, if we can call them that, seem to pulse with life, expanding and contracting in slow, rhythmic patterns. What about power sources? I ask, leaning forward to examine a particularly massive structure at the center of the formation. Are they burning fossil fuels? Nuclear? Something else? Dr. Mason points to several pulsating nodes scattered throughout the largest city formation. These appear to be energy distribution centers, but there's no heat signature suggesting combustion, no radiation consistent with nuclear power. They seem to be harvesting energy directly from the planet itself, possibly geothermal, but on a scale we've never achieved. Chief Engineer Dominic Thorne whistles low. If we could replicate that kind of efficiency, we could solve Earth's energy crisis overnight. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, I caution. We're here to observe, not to appropriate their technology. Of course, Captain, Thorne says quickly, though the gleam in his eye tells me he's already considering the possibilities. I can't blame him. The engineer in me is equally fascinated. The aliens themselves are equally captivating. Through our high-resolution imaging, we observe elongated figures that stand nearly 3 meters tall, with iridescent skin that shifts colors with what we presume to be emotional states. They move with fluid grace, 6 limbs functioning in perfect harmony as they navigate their living cities. They're beautiful, whispers Communications Officer Dahlia Frost. No one disagrees. Despite their alien appearance, there's an undeniable elegance to these beings. Dr. Mason adjusts his presentation. We've observed approximately 20 different color shift patterns. Our working theory is that these serve as a secondary form of communication, supplementing whatever vocalization or other methods they use. Any progress on intercepting their communications? I ask, turning to Dahlia. Some, Captain, she replies, brushing a strand of blonde hair from her face. Their transmission methods are unlike anything in our database. Not radio waves, not optical. Something else entirely. But we're beginning to isolate patterns. The AI is working on potential translation matrices. For 3 weeks, we observe in silence. The crew settles into routines. We collect terabytes of data on alien behavior, technology, and social structures. My daily logs grow more detailed as we begin to understand patterns in their society. We name their species the Luminians for their bioluminescent properties. Dr. Mason develops a preliminary understanding of their social structure. They appear to operate in collective units of 6 to 8 individuals, not family groups, more like functional teams. Their interactions suggest a complex social hierarchy, but without the rigid power structures we see in human societies. I find the lack of obvious conflict fascinating. No visible weapons, no military installations. None that we can identify, Security Chief Victor Koval confirms. His perpetual frown deepens, etching new lines into his already scarred face. The burly Russian has survived 3 interplanetary conflicts, and his instincts for danger have saved our lives more than once, which either means they've evolved beyond warfare, or their weapons are so advanced we can't recognize them. I finish for him. Keep looking. Every evening, I gather with the senior staff to review the day's findings. We begin assembling a comprehensive profile of Luminian society. They appear to communicate through a combination of vocalization, color shifts, and subtle movements, a language more complex than anything humans have developed. Any progress on translating their communications? I asked Dahlia during our 3rd week. She nods, her fingers dancing across her console. The AI is beginning to identify recurring patterns. It's not a translation yet, but we're building a rudimentary understanding of their communication structure. I lean over her shoulder, watching as the alien language scrolls across her screen. fluid symbols that pulse and shift like living things. Incredible, I murmur. How long until we can understand them? Weeks, maybe months, she answers honestly. It's unlike any language structure we've encountered. The days blend together in a rhythm of observation, analysis, and cautious excitement. Crew morale remains high, bolstered by the historic nature of our mission and the sheer wonder of what we're witnessing. Even Koval occasionally cracks a smile when a particularly beautiful light display erupts over the alien cityscape. But on the 23rd day, everything changes. "Captain, you need to hear this." Dahlia calls me to her station, her voice tight with concern. The bridge is quiet during Gamma shift, most of the crew sleeping or engaged in off-duty activities. I've been reviewing structural scans of the alien architecture, looking for patterns our AI might have missed. "What is it, Lieutenant?" I ask, noting the unusual tension in her normally composed demeanor. She plays an intercepted communication. The alien language sounds like liquid crystal, flowing, musical, impossible for human vocal cords to replicate. But our AI translator provides text. The human observers continue to believe their vessel is concealed. How primitive their understanding of quantum perception must be. Their attempts at invisibility would not fool a juvenile. My blood runs cold. Play it again. She does. The message remains the same. "Run a diagnostic on the translator," I order. "This must be an error." But the diagnostic returns clean, and worse, more messages follow. Their technology is laughable. Shall we continue to let them believe they are undetected? Yes. Their ignorance provides valuable psychological data. The humans will serve as excellent study subjects. I call an emergency meeting of the senior staff. The tension in the briefing room is thick enough to cut with a knife. I've transmitted the translated communications to everyone's personal devices, and the implications hang heavy in the air. "They know we're here," I state plainly. "Somehow, our stealth technology has failed." Chief Engineer Dominic Thorne, a burly man with calloused hands and 20 years of experience with experimental propulsion systems, shakes his head vehemently. "Impossible. The phase shifters are functioning perfectly. Power consumption is exactly where it should be. No radiation leakage, no thermal signature. There's no way they could see us." "Well, they do," I reply, my voice sharp. "The question is, how?" Dr. Mason adjusts his glasses. "Captain, we may be applying human limitations to non-human senses. These beings could perceive reality through means we don't understand." "Could they be bluffing?" Navigator Junishida suggests. "Perhaps they've detected something, but aren't certain what it is, so they're broadcasting these messages hoping for a response." "A fish trap," Koval mutters. When we look at him questioningly, he elaborates. "An old Russian tactic. You set up an ambush, then send false communications suggesting you know the enemy is there, hoping they'll panic and reveal themselves." "Possible," I concede. "But why discuss it among themselves in a way we could intercept?" Dahlia clears her throat. "Perhaps they wanted us to intercept it. Perhaps this is a form of communication directed at us." The thought chills me. If they're speaking to us, it means they not only know we're here, but have analysed our technology enough to understand how our communication systems work. Commander Petrov, ever practical, cuts through the debate. What matters is that they know we're here. The question is, what do we do about it? I consider our options. Protocol dictates immediate withdrawal if discovered, but we're 3 years from home at maximum speed, and running could provoke them. We maintain position, I decide finally, continue observations but shift to defensive posture, enhance monitoring of their communications. I want to know if they're planning something beyond just watching us. That night, I can't sleep. I pace my quarters, reviewing everything we know about the Luminians. How long have they been aware of us? Since our arrival? Before? The implications are staggering. Over the next few days, the messages grow more frequent and more disturbing. The Luminians, begin broadcasting simulated images of humans in degrading scenarios, test subjects, lab specimens, entertainment. The images show humans being dissected, their reactions to various stimuli documented with clinical precision. We have no way of knowing if these are manufactured simulations or recordings of actual human specimens, somehow acquired previously. They're mocking us, Security Chief Victor Koval growls, his Russian accent thickening with anger as he throws a datapad across the briefing room, playing with us like a cat with a mouse. More like scientists with lab rats, Dr. Okafor corrects grimly. These scenarios aren't just cruel, they're methodical. They're testing responses, documenting reactions. This is research. Worse still, the aliens begin referencing specific crew members by name. They know who we are. They know our mission. Captain Drake's psychological profile suggests enhanced stress response when confronted with uncertainty. One message reads, "Shall we introduce variables to test this hypothesis?" Lieutenant Commander Vega exhibits maternal protective instincts toward junior crew members. Stimulus Package 17B will determine the limits of this response. Security Chief Koval's aggression markers are particularly pronounced. Recommend caution when harvesting. The violation feels profound. They've been studying us while we thought we were studying them. The hunter becomes the hunted. Paranoia spreads through the ship like a virus. Crew members report feeling watched in their private quarters. Strange dreams plague our sleep. The ship's systems experience intermittent glitches that our engineers can't explain. Lieutenant Yasmin Rivera from Astrophysics reports hearing whispers in her lab when no one is present. Ensign Cooper wakes screaming, claiming shadowy figures stood at the foot of his bed. Medical Officer Amara Okafor notes a 300% increase in sleep disturbance complaints. It's psychological warfare, Commander Petrov suggests during one of our late-night strategy sessions. They're trying to destabilize us, make us question our perceptions. It's working, I admit, rubbing my eyes. I can't remember the last time I slept more than an hour without waking to phantom noises or unsettling dreams. I find myself standing alone on the observation deck in the middle of the night, staring down at the alien world. Their cities glow with hypnotic pulses of light. Are they sending messages to us? Warnings? Threats? "What do you want?" I whisper to the void. The void doesn't answer, but something is listening. A gentle hand on my shoulder nearly makes me jump out of my skin. I spin around to find Commander Petrov. "Sorry," he says, raising his hands. "Didn't mean to startle you." I let out a shaky breath. "It's fine, I'm just on edge," he finishes. "We all are." We stand in silence, watching the alien world rotate beneath us. "I've been reviewing our options," Petrov says finally. "If we stay, we risk becoming their lab rats. If we run," he shrugs, "they might let us go. Or they might pursue. Either way, we would return to Earth with a potential hostile force, aware of our existence and our location." "No good choices," I mutter. "There rarely are, in moments that change history," he replies. The weight of responsibility presses down on me like a physical force. 137 lives on this ship, billions more back on Earth, all potentially at risk based on decisions I make in the next few days. I'm about to respond when the ship's alarm blares. Red emergency lighting bathes the observation deck. "Security breach, Deck C," the automated system announces. "All personnel, battle stations." We sprint for the bridge, but we're already too late. "Captain, Lieutenant Vega and Engineer Thorne are missing." Navigator Jun Ishida's voice jerks me from a fitful sleep. I'm on my feet instantly, pulling on my uniform, as he explains. "Neither reported for their shifts. We've searched their quarters. Empty. No sign of struggle, but..." He hesitates. "But what, Lieutenant?" Their personal effects have been arranged in patterns, geometric configurations that don't make sense. And there's this. He hands me a small object that glistens with an oily sheen. It's warm to the touch and pulses with a faint blue light. "What is it?" I ask, though I already suspect the answer. "Not human technology, sir." I activate the ship-wide alert system. "All hands, this is the captain. We have a security breach. Unknown intruders may be aboard. Arm yourselves and travel in groups of 3 or more. Report any unusual activity immediately." Koval organizes security teams, his expression grim but focused. "We'll find them, Captain, and whatever took them." Over the next 8 hours, we find dozens of similar devices throughout the ship, in air vents, embedded in computer terminals, even inside personal belongings. Our ship has been compromised. "How did they get aboard?" Petrov demands during our emergency briefing. "Our shields are active. The airlock logs show no entries or exits." Chief Engineer Wilson, who stepped up in Thorne's absence, shakes his head. "They may have technology that allows them to phase through solid matter, or some form of teleportation." "Or they've been here all along," Dr. Mason suggests quietly. "Watching, waiting." The thought sends a chill through the room. I study the alien device we found in Vega's quarters. It fits in the palm of my hand, its surface shifting between translucent and opaque in a rhythmic pattern. When I hold it under the scanner, it seems to absorb the light rather than reflect it. "What's it doing?" I ask Mason. "Based on its position and energy signature, I believe it's a monitoring device, similar to our surveillance equipment but utilizing principles we don't understand." He looks troubled. "The concerning part is how many we've found. They've been observing us extensively." "Any luck tracking Vega and Thorne?" I ask Koval. "Nothing conclusive." His frustration is evident. "We've swept every compartment, every crawl space. Either they're no longer on the ship, or what? Or they're somewhere we can't detect." He meets my gaze directly. "The same way these aliens have apparently been on our ship, without us knowing. Strange phenomena multiply. Temperature drops in sealed compartments, whispers in empty corridors, equipment malfunctions in patterns too regular to be random failures. Crew members report seeing shadowy figures that vanish when approached. Others claim to hear their names whispered by voices that sound almost, but not quite human. They're toying with us, Dr. Okafor says during her psychological assessment briefing, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty, classic psychological warfare tactics. To what end, I ask? To break us down, make us easier to control. She hesitates. Or to prepare us for something worse. The ship feels different now. Hostile. Alien. Corridors I've walked thousands of times suddenly seem longer. Darker. Every shadow might hide a watcher. Every unexpected sound makes hearts race. 3 days into the search, Ensign Rodriguez spots something unusual in the mess hall during gamma shift. Movement, he reports over the comm. Something not human. Koval leads a security team to investigate. When they arrive, the mess hall is empty, until they check the ceiling. A shapeless mass of iridescent material clings to the overhead, pulsating slowly. "What the hell is that?" one of the security officers whispers. Before Koval can respond, the mass drops, not falling, but flowing downward, like liquid, and engulfs Rodriguez. His scream cuts off abruptly. The security team opens fire, but their energy weapons pass through the substance with no effect. When the mass retreats through a ventilation shaft, Rodriguez appears unharmed physically, but his eyes have changed, taking on the same iridescent quality as the alien material. "Are you okay?" Koval demands, weapon trained on the ensign. Rodriguez tilts his head at an unnatural angle. "I am improved," he says, voice oddly modulated. "You will be too. Soon." Koval stuns him without hesitation. They bring his unconscious form to medical isolation, where Dr. Okafor conducts preliminary scans. "His DNA is changing," she reports, horror evident in her voice, "being rewritten at the cellular level." And there's something else, microscopic structures forming in his nervous system, particularly concentrated in the brain. Is he still him? I ask. For now, she says grimly, but I don't know for how long. Then Vega and Thorn return. We find them in the mess hall the next morning, sitting perfectly still, staring at nothing. Their skin has a faint iridescent quality that reminds me too much of the aliens below. Lieutenant, Dominic. I approach cautiously. They turn in perfect unison, movements too fluid, too coordinated. When they speak, their voices overlap in perfect synchronization. Captain Drake, your concern is unnecessary. We have been improved. I take an involuntary step back. Behind me, Security Chief Koval raises his weapon. What happened to you? I ask, fighting to keep my voice steady. We have been shown truth, they respond in that disturbing unison. The Luminians have shared their gift with us. Soon they will share it with all humans. What gift, I press? Unity, purpose, freedom from the illusion of individuality. Their expressions remain blank, but their eyes track me with predatory intensity. Their skin ripples occasionally, iridescent patterns flowing beneath the surface. Where were you taken? Commander Petrov asks. We never left, they reply together. We were merely awakened, as you will be. Before they can say more, Koval stuns them both. They collapse like marionettes with cut strings. Dr. Amara Okafor conducts thorough examinations. Her findings chill us to the bone. Their DNA shows signs of extensive modification, she reports. Neural pathways have been rerouted. And there's something else, microscopic organisms, integrated with their nervous systems. They're still Vega and Thorn, but they're also something else now. Can you reverse it? I ask. Her expression tells me everything before she speaks. I don't even understand it, Captain. This is beyond anything in human medical science. We place them in quarantined isolation, under heavy sedation, but I can't shake the feeling that even unconscious, they're still watching us, still reporting back to their new masters. That night we discover the hidden transmission beacon in the ship's central computer core. It's not just sending our location, it's transmitting everything. Ship schematics, crew biometrics, mission parameters, Earth's coordinates. We are not observers, we are the observed. Wilson attempts to disable the beacon, but it's integrated into our central systems so thoroughly that removing it would cripple the ship. It's like it's grown into our systems, he explains, frustration evident in his voice, like a technological parasite. In my quarters that night, I make the hardest entry in my personal log. We failed. Not just our mission, but potentially humanity itself. These beings, these Luminians, now have detailed knowledge of Earth, our defenses, our weaknesses, and we've shown them exactly how primitive we are by comparison, if they decide to follow us home. I pause, unable to complete the thought. May whatever gods exist have mercy on us all. As I finish recording, my console chimes. An incoming message from the planet below, directly to my personal terminal. With trembling fingers, I open it. A face forms on my screen, not human, but not entirely alien either. A grotesque hybrid that approximates human features on a decidedly non-human structure. The eyes, too many eyes, blink asynchronously. Captain Drake, it speaks, voice modulated to sound deceptively human. We've been so looking forward to meeting you properly. Who are you? I demand. We are the future, the thing replies. Your future, your crew's future, Earth's future. We have watched your species for decades. Your primitive radio signals, your quaint explorations, your endless conflicts. We find you fascinating, deeply flawed, yet occasionally brilliant. What have you done to my crew members? Improved them, as we will improve all humans in time. They are the first, ambassadors of a new age. We won't let you take Earth, I say, trying to sound more confident than I feel. The thing's approximation of a smile stretches impossibly wide. Captain Drake, you misunderstand. We don't need to take Earth. You're going to give it to us. The screen goes dark, leaving me alone with my fear and my rage. The senior staff meeting is the shortest in ship's history. We fight back, I announce. No vote is needed. No debate. We've seen enough. Security Chief Koval reveals what few of us knew. The Obsidian Wraith isn't just a surveillance vessel. Hidden beneath her benign exterior are weapon systems that would make a battleship proud. Plasma cannons, kinetic strike capabilities, tactical nuclear payloads. Space Command always has a contingency plan, Koval explains with grim satisfaction. The revelation shocks most of the staff. Commander Petrov merely nods, unsurprised. You knew? I ask him privately after the meeting. I suspected, he admits. This mission was too important to send us out completely defenseless. I should be angry at the deception, but all I feel is relief that we have options. We need a plan, I tell the assembled officers. We can't just start firing blindly. Why not? Koval challenges. Element of surprise. Hit them hard before they realize we've dropped our stealth. And if they retaliate, we don't know their weapons' capabilities, Dr. Mason counters. We could be starting a war humanity can't win. A heated debate follows. Koval and the security team advocate for immediate offensive action. Mason and the science division urge caution. Wilson and the engineers suggest modifications to our stealth systems that might allow us to escape undetected. I listen to all sides, weighing options. The lives of my crew against the potential threat to Earth. Immediate action versus strategic patience. Here's what we're going to do, I decide finally. We prepare for battle, but we don't strike yet. First, we need to understand their weaknesses. We prepare for battle. Crew members arm themselves with pulse rifles and neural disruptors. Combat teams form. Our scientists reconfigure our scanning systems to better understand Luminian vulnerabilities. Dr. Mason works tirelessly to analyze the biological samples from Vega, Thorne, and Rodriguez, searching for vulnerabilities in the alien physiology. Their cellular structure is remarkable, he explains during a briefing. Highly adaptive, almost fluid in its organization. But there's a weakness. Their cells appear sensitive to specific electromagnetic frequencies. A properly calibrated EM pulse might disrupt their nervous systems temporarily. Weapons Officer Lian Zhao adjusts our defenses accordingly. I've modified our shield harmonics to emit a rotating EM field that should interfere with any Luminian attempting to board. Meanwhile, the infected crew members remain in isolation. Their condition deteriorates, or evolves, each day. The iridescent patterns beneath their skin grow more pronounced. Their movements become increasingly inhuman, and they speak constantly now, a mixture of English and the liquid, crystalline language of the Luminians. They want us to hear them, Dr. Okafor theorizes. It's part of their psychological warfare. I visit the isolation ward daily, hoping for some sign of the people I knew. Some indication that Vega and Thorne are still in there, fighting. Instead, they watch me with alien eyes and smile with too perfect synchronicity. Soon, they tell me every day. Soon you will understand. Soon you will join us. For 3 days, we prepare. The atmosphere on the ship transforms from fear to grim determination. These aliens may have technology beyond our comprehension, but humans have one advantage they seem to have overlooked. We excel at warfare. It's in our blood, written into our history with the ashes of 1,000 conflicts. The Luminians continue to observe us. Occasionally they send messages, always mocking, always condescending. They see our preparations but seem unconcerned. Such charming aggression, one message reads, like watching primitive organisms develop rudimentary defense mechanisms. Fascinating, if ultimately futile. Their arrogance will be their undoing. On the 4th day, I call the senior staff together one final time. We're as ready as we'll ever be, I tell them. The infected crew members are stable in isolation. Our weapons are primed. Our emergency protocols are in place. I pause, looking each of them in the eye. I won't lie to you. This is a fight we might not win, but it's one we can't avoid. If we do nothing, the Luminians will continue to infiltrate our ship until we're all converted, and then they'll have a direct path to Earth. No one argues. They've seen enough to understand the stakes. What's the plan, Captain? Commander Petrov asks. We hit their orbital platforms first, I explain, pulling up a tactical display. Our scans indicate their communication relays possibly linked to their collective consciousness. Taking them out might disrupt their coordination temporarily. And then, Koval presses, and then we take the fight to them. Target their primary neural center, what we've been calling their capital city. Dr. Mason's analysis suggests it's a focal point for their hive mind. If we can damage it significantly. We might just give ourselves a chance, Petrov finishes. The moment of decision arrives. I stand on the bridge, my hand hovering over the tactical display. All hands, battle stations, I order through the ship-wide comm. Prepare for offensive action. The crew respond with practiced efficiency. Weapons charge, shields reconfigure to battle settings. Non-essential systems power down to divert energy where it's needed most. Decloak on my mark, I tell Zhao at the tactical station. Target their main orbital platforms. Fire immediately upon decloak. The bridge crew tenses. This is it. First contact is about to become first combat. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The Obsidian Wraith shimmers into visibility. For one breathless moment, nothing happens. Then, the alien communications explode with activity. Confusion. Alarm. For the first time, fear. Fire. Our weapons lash out, streams of superheated plasma, striking the alien orbital platforms. They rupture in spectacular explosions, debris cascading toward the planet's atmosphere. Direct hits on all targets, Tactical Officer Zhao reports, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. On the view screen, I watch the Luminians' first response. Ships rise from the planet's surface, organic-looking vessels that move with disturbing grace. But they don't rise in formation. Their movements suggest disorganization. Panic. They didn't expect this, Commander Petrov observes, a grim smile on his face. They thought us incapable of significant resistance. Target their vessels, I order. Focus fire on the largest ship. Our weapon systems lock on. The largest alien vessel, a pulsating, translucent structure almost twice the size of our own ship, glows bright as its defensive systems activate. Fire. This time, our attack meets resistance. The alien vessel absorbs the first volley, its surface rippling like disturbed water. Minimal damage, Zhao reports, disappointment evident in her voice. They have some kind of adaptive shielding. Adjust frequency and fire again, I command. Keep rotating through the spectrum until we find something that works. Before she can comply, the alien ships return fire. Not with conventional weapons, but with clouds of glittering particles that drift toward our vessel. Evasive maneuvers, I shout. Too late. The particles impact our hull, seeming to phase through the metal itself. Alarms blare throughout the ship. Hull breach, Zhao yells. Negative, Engineering Officer Patel counters. Hull integrity stable, but something's coming through the ventilation system. The battle for the Obsidian Wraith begins in earnest. The ship's internal defenses activate, electromagnetic barriers designed to repel foreign entities. For a moment they seem effective. The shimmering particles halt at the barriers, swirling in frustrated patterns. It's working, Patel says, relief evident in his voice. Then the particles change, their frequency shifting, adapting. They pass through the barriers as if they aren't there. They're learning, Dr. Mason observes, horror and fascination mingling in his voice, adjusting to our countermeasures in real time. I activate the ship-wide comm. All personnel seal environmental suits, unknown contaminant in the ventilation system. This is not a drill. The crew respond with commendable speed. In less than 2 minutes, everyone on board should be protected by their suits' self-contained life support systems. But we're already too late. The horror reveals itself in stages. First, crew members in the lower decks report burning sensations on exposed skin, then respiratory distress, then the screaming starts. Medical teams deploy in hazmat suits. What they find defies description. The affected crew, their bodies contorting, skin developing the same iridescent quality we saw in Vega and Thorn. But this transformation isn't clean or controlled. It's agonizing, chaotic. Dr. Okafor's voice breaks as she reports from Deck C. It's some kind of biological agent. It's rewriting their DNA in real time, attempting to transform them into I don't know what, but the process is failing. Human biology is resisting, and the conflict is, Captain, we need to quarantine the affected areas. We seal off 3 decks, trapping 47 crew members. Their screams echo through the ship's communication system until we're forced to disable it. Can you help them? I ask Okafor, when she returns to the bridge, her face ashen beneath her helmet visor. I don't know how, she admits. This is beyond anything in medical science. They're not just being infected, they're being rewritten at the cellular level. Meanwhile, the battle outside intensifies. More alien ships surround us, our weapons strike with devastating effect. But for every vessel we destroy, 3 more appear. They're trying to board us, Commander Petrov observes as we study tactical displays. These attacks aren't meant to destroy the ship. They want to capture it. Why, I wonder aloud, if their technology is so superior? Dr. Mason, who has joined us on the bridge, offers a theory. Perhaps they're interested in how we think. Our approach to warfare may be primitive, but it's also unpredictable to them. They value that data. They're treating this like a science experiment, I realize with growing anger, with us as the lab rats. The ship shudders as another alien attack finds its mark. Shields down to 60%, Zhao reports. We can't sustain this level of engagement for long, Captain. Navigator Ishida is the first of the bridge crew to show symptoms. One moment he's calculating evasive patterns. The next, he's convulsing at his station, skin rippling with unnatural colours. Captain, he gasps, fighting whatever is happening to him. They're in my head. I can hear them. Before we can restrain him, he lunges at the navigation controls. Security Chief Koval tackles him, but not before Ishida manages to alter our course, directly towards the planet. What are you doing? I demand as security restrains him. Ishida's eyes have changed colour, luminous gold with vertical pupils. When he speaks, it's not entirely his voice. Taking you home, he says, lips stretched in an inhuman smile. To the hive. That's when I understand. The cities below aren't cities at all. They're nervous systems, I whisper in horror. The entire planet is a collective organism. Koval, ever practical, puts a neural disruptor against Ishida's temple. Permission to neutralize, Captain? I hesitate, but Ishida's body is already changing, limbs elongating. Do it! The flash of the disruptor momentarily blinds us. When my vision clears, Ishida lies still, his partially transformed body, a testament to how close we came to losing another crew member. But Koval is staring at his hand in horror. Where he touched Ishida, his skin shows the first signs of iridescence. Quarantine the bridge, I order. No one leaves, no one enters. It's a stopgap measure at best. The ship is compromised. Half the crew is dead or transformed. Our weapons are depleting, and we're on a collision course with what appears to be the central brain of the Luminian collective. Can we restore control? I ask Wilkes, who has taken over navigation. I'm trying, Captain, he replies, fingers dancing across the controls, but something's interfering. The system keeps defaulting to Ishida's last input. I study the tactical display. Looking for any advantage, the Luminian vessels have formed a blockade between us and open space. Our path to the surface remains relatively clear. What if we take the fight to them? I suggest. a direct assault on their primary neural center. Commander Petrov considers this high risk, but they clearly value their collective. Threatening it directly might force them to divert ships to its defense. That's assuming they value individual survival the way we do, Dr. Mason cautions. A hive mind might sacrifice millions of units to preserve the whole. It's worth a shot, I decide. Prepare for atmospheric entry. Target the central node of their largest city formation. Let's see how they like having their home threatened. The Obsidian Wraith wasn't designed for atmospheric combat, but her reinforced hull can withstand it. We dive toward the planet, breaking through clouds of swirling gases. The alien ships pursue, just as I'd hoped, thinning their blockade. They're following us in, Zhao confirms. Formation suggests protective positioning, rather than offensive. Good, I say grimly. They care about something down there. Let's find out what... As we descend, the alien landscape comes into focus. From orbit, their cities looked like sprawling, elegant structures. Up close, the reality is far more disturbing. The buildings pulse with life, not figuratively, but literally. They contract and expand in rhythmic patterns. Fluid flows through transparent conduits. The entire city is a single, massive organism. My God, Dr. Mason whispers, it's not a city at all. It's a neural network, a physical manifestation of their collective consciousness. The implications are staggering. We're not fighting individual aliens. We're fighting a planetary organism that thinks collectively, acts collectively. That explains their coordinated responses, Commander Petrov observes. They're not communicating, they're sharing a consciousness. Which means, Dr. Mason continues, excitement creeping into his voice despite the circumstances, if we disrupt the central node, we might disorient the entire collective temporarily. Target that central structure, I order Zhao. Full weapons barrage. The ship shudders as our weapons discharge. Streams of plasma lance towards the pulsating structure at the city center. They strike with devastating effect, tearing through the alien material. The response is immediate and dramatic. The alien ships pursuing us falter, their movements suddenly erratic. Some crash into each other, others veer off course, plummeting toward the surface. "It's working!" Zhao exclaims. "They're disoriented." For a moment, hope flares. Then, a new sensation fills the bridge. A pressure in my mind, like a gathering storm. Judging by the pained expressions around me, the others feel it too. "What's happening?" I demand, pressing my hands to my temples. Mason begins, then cries out in pain. "They're trying another approach, direct neural interface." The pressure intensifies, becoming a searing pain. Images flood my mind. Alien landscapes, strange geometries, concepts that human language lacks words to describe. I feel my sense of self fragmenting, dissolving into a vastness that threatens to swallow me whole. "Resist," I hear Petrov shouting, though he sounds distant. "Focus on something personal, something they can't know." I grasp at memories, my childhood home in Colorado, the scent of pine trees after rain, my mother's smile. The pressure recedes slightly. Around the bridge, crew members struggle similarly. Some succeed. Others collapse, their eyes taking on that telltale iridescent glow. Wilkes at the navigation console is one of the first to fall. His body convulses, then relaxes into unnatural stillness. When he speaks, his voice overlaps with others, creating a discordant chorus. Why do you resist? Unity is perfection, individuality is isolation. Koval stuns him without hesitation, but the damage is done. We're still on a collision course with the central neural node, and now we've lost our navigator. "We need to regain control of the ship," I tell Petrov, my voice raw from screaming. "Or we need to evacuate." He checks the tactical display. Escape pods would be sitting ducks for their ships, but if we can cause enough damage to that central node, It might give us a window. In that moment, I make the hardest decision of my career. All hands, this is the captain. Abandon ship protocol. Get to the escape pods. As the remaining crew scrambles to obey, I input command codes that only I possess. The ship's quantum engine, our means of faster-than-light travel, has another purpose. With the right modifications, it can create a rupture in space-time, a dimensional rift that will consume everything within a 1,000-kilometer radius, including the Obsidian Wraith, including me, including a significant portion of the alien world. I work quickly, ignoring the transformation spreading up Koval's arm. He understands what I'm doing, without being told. "How long?" he asks, voice strained. 10 minutes, I reply, finishing the sequence. More than enough time for the escape pods to reach safe distance. He nods, then looks at his arm. The iridescence has reached his shoulder. "I'm staying," he says simply. I start to argue, but the look in his eyes stops me. He knows he'll never make it back to Earth. Not like this. "It's been an honor," I tell him. "Likewise, Captain." Commander Petrov steps forward. "I'm staying too." "Alexei, no," I protest. "You're not infected. You can still—" "My place is here," he interrupts firmly. "Someone needs to make sure those escape pods get clear. And—" He glances at the view screen where the alien neural center looms closer. "Someone needs to ensure this works." I know better than to argue. In 15 years, I've never won an argument with Alexei Petrov when his mind is made up. Dr. Mason approaches, his expression resolute. I should stay as well. My expertise might be needed if they attempt to disable the engine. One by one, volunteers step forward. Zhao from Tactical, Dr. Okafor from Medical, Wilson from Engineering. Each has their reasons. Each understands the sacrifice. "No," I decide finally. "Too many lives have been lost already. Petrov, Koval, and I will remain. The rest of you, get to the escape pods. Humanity needs to know what happened here. They need to be prepared." Reluctantly, they obey. The bridge empties as the remaining crew heads for the escape pods. Only Petrov, Koval, and I remain. "What's our final target?" Petrov asks, taking the navigation controls. I consider our options. The central node. If Mason is right, and that's their primary neural cluster, destroying it will cripple their collective consciousness. "Might kill them all," Koval observes, no regret in his voice. "They brought this on themselves," I reply. "They could have left us alone." As the last escape pods jettison, we barricade ourselves in the quantum engine chamber. Through the viewport, we watch the alien ships swarm around us, no longer attacking. They seem to be attempting to dock. "They want the ship," Koval observes. "They want our technology." "They're not getting it," I reply. The Obsidian Wraith continues its descent, now on a direct collision course with the central neural cluster. The alien ships grow increasingly frantic in their attempts to divert us. "They're scared," Petrov notes with grim satisfaction. "Good." The countdown reaches 3 minutes when the chamber door begins to melt. The metal liquefies, running like mercury to reveal what waits beyond. They no longer resemble the elegant beings we observed from orbit. In their true form, the Luminians are nightmarish. Masses of iridescent tissue and writhing appendages, a dozen eyes blinking independently of one another. They pour into the chamber like liquid, reforming into vaguely humanoid shapes as they approach. One steps forward, its features shifting, until it wears a grotesque approximation of my own face. "Captain Drake," it speaks with my voice, "you have fought admirably, but futilely. Your species will join our collective, as have dozens before you. Your warning beacons will never reach Earth. We are already there." I laugh. I can't help it, the sound echoes harshly in the chamber. "What amuses you at the moment of your extinction?" the thing wearing my face asks. I glance at the engine controls. 30 seconds. "You laughed at us," I say. "Mocked our technology, our intelligence, our very existence. But you missed something crucial about humans. And what is that? I smile. We're really, really bad losers. The creature's stolen face contorts in confusion. Then it sees the countdown display. Understanding dawns in its many eyes. For the first time, I see genuine fear in an alien expression. You wouldn't, it hisses. You'll die too. Worth it, Koval growls beside me, his transformation halted by sheer force of will. Petrov stands at my other side, resolute. For Earth. The aliens surge forward, but it's too late. The countdown reaches 0. The quantum engine ruptures, reality tears, and everything goes white. Darkness. Floating. Am I dead? Consciousness returns in fragments. I open my eyes to blinding light. Pain lances through my skull. Everything hurts. I shouldn't be alive. Gradually, my vision clears. I'm in a small metal compartment. An escape pod. How? Memory returns in flashes. Petrov shoving me into the pod at the last moment, his grim smile as the door sealed. His final words, someone has to warn them. I check the pod systems, severe damage but life support functions. Navigation offline, communication systems barely functional. Through the viewport, I see only stars. No planet, no alien ships, just the endless void of space. The pod's computer confirms what I already suspect. The quantum rupture was successful. 1,000-kilometer sphere of reality, including the Luminian neural center and the Obsidian Wraith, has been wiped from existence. Petrov and Koval are gone, along with most of the Luminian collective, but not all of it. The emergency beacon activates automatically, transmitting our mission logs toward Earth. The signal will take years to reach home, but it will arrive eventually. A warning about what waits in the darkness between stars. I drift in and out of consciousness for days. The pod's medical systems keep me alive, but resources are limited. I record final messages, updates to my log, anything that might help Earth prepare for what might still come. Because the Luminian wearing my face said something that haunts my dreams, we are already there. Were they lying, bluffing in their final moments, or have advanced elements of their collective already reached Earth? As my strength fades, I recall fragments of the alien consciousness that briefly touched my mind. Their history spans millions of years. They've consumed dozens of species, incorporating them into their collective. Each conquest made them stronger, more adaptable. Humans weren't their first target, nor would we have been their last. The thought torments me as my life support systems gradually fail. My final act is to ensure the message beacon is secure, its course set for home. As darkness claims me, I think of Petrov, of Koval, of all those who gave their lives. I hope their sacrifice was enough. I hope Earth heeds our warning. Because in the cold void between worlds, predators still hunt, and humanity must be ready when the Luminians return. The message beacon drifts through space for 4 months before reaching the lunar gateway station. Its contents, my logs, our findings, and a final warning cause immediate alarm. In a secure conference room, Admiral Renkov and Director Masuda debate humanity's response. We should prepare for full-scale war, Renkov argues, pounding his fist on the table. If Drake's warning is accurate, these Luminians are already infiltrating our society. Masuda remains calm. And how do we identify them? If they can alter their appearance at will, anyone could be compromised. Your superior officer, your family, me. Then what do you suggest? Renkov demands. Masuda looks out the viewport at Earth shining below. We listen, we watch, we prepare quietly. Prepare how? Renkov challenges. The Obsidian Wraith was our most advanced vessel, and it failed. It didn't fail, Masuda corrects him. Drake and his crew discovered the enemy's weakness, their collective consciousness, their hive mind. We need to develop weapons that target that link. Renkov nods slowly. Individuality, our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. If they're already here, how do we find them? We look for behavioral anomalies, Masuda explains. Perfect synchronization between individuals, unusual physical characteristics, iridescent skin patterns, sensitivity to certain electromagnetic frequencies. Dr. Okafor's medical data from the mission gives us markers to watch for. And in the meantime? In the meantime, we build... Masuda's eyes harden. We build ships with better stealth technology. We develop weapons specifically designed to target their collective consciousness. We prepare humanity for the possibility that we are not alone, and that what's out there isn't friendly. Neither notices the slight iridescent sheen that briefly flashes across the eyes of the young aide, serving coffee. As he leaves the room, his movements perfectly coordinated. Too fluid to be entirely human, he taps a message into his communicator. The humans know, acceleration required. The response comes instantly. Proceed as planned. They cannot stop what has already begun. Outside, humanity continues its daily routines. Laughing, loving, arguing, unaware that their laughter may soon turn to screams. Unaware that the hunters from beyond the stars now walk among them. But they'll learn, just as the Luminians learned that humans should never be underestimated. In our unpredictability lies our strength. In our individuality lies our salvation. Even in the void, predators must be careful. Sometimes the prey bites back. 6 months later, in a research facility buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of scientists gathers around a strange device recovered from an abandoned warehouse in Tokyo. Its origin is unknown, its purpose unclear, but it pulses with the same iridescent light described in Captain Drake's logs. Dr. Lydia Novak, lead researcher on Project Wraith, studies the device through specialized goggles designed to detect Luminian energy signatures. It's some kind of communication node, she explains to General Hammond, the military overseer of the project. We believe the Luminians were using it to coordinate their activities on Earth. Can we track them with it? Hammond asks. Better. Novak smiles grimly. We can fool them with it. In the months since the Obsidian Wraith's final message reached Earth, humanity has been preparing quietly, but intensely. The existence of the Luminians remains classified at the highest level, known only to key military and scientific personnel. The public remains unaware of the silent invasion happening in their midst. But the hunters have become the hunted. Task forces equipped with specialized detection equipment scour major population centers, identifying and neutralizing Luminian infiltrators. Each captured entity provides more information, more understanding of the enemy's weaknesses. They underestimated us, Novak continues, manipulating the controls of the device. They saw our technology as primitive, our understanding limited, but that gave us the advantage of surprise. How many have we found? Hammond asks. 317 confirmed infiltrators worldwide, Novak replies. But there are certainly more. And their plan? From what we've gathered, they were preparing Earth for large-scale conversion. The infiltrators were meant to be the first wave, creating a foothold for the main collective to follow. She gestures to the device. This would have been their beacon, calling the rest of them here. Hammond's expression darkens. So there are more out there, despite Drake's actions? Drake destroyed their central neural cluster, but the Luminian consciousness exists across multiple nodes throughout their home system. They're weakened, disorganized, but not eliminated. Novak adjusts her glasses. However, this gives us time to prepare, to develop countermeasures. Like what? In answer, Novak activates the device. It pulses with energy, but instead of its natural iridescent glow, it emits a harsh red light. We've reprogrammed it, she explains. Instead of calling them here, it's broadcasting a message, a warning. Earth is not the easy target they thought. Earth fights back. Hammond studies the device with newfound respect. Will it be enough? Perhaps not, Novak admits, but it's only the beginning. Project Phantom is already developing ships with advanced stealth technology based on the Obsidian Wraith's specifications. Project Disruptor is creating weapons designed specifically to sever the Luminians' collective consciousness, and Project Oracle is working on a predictive system to anticipate their next moves. Turning their own arrogance against them, Hammond observes. Exactly. Novak's expression hardens. They laughed at us. They thought us primitive, easy prey. They've learned their mistake, and when they return in force, we'll be ready. As they talk, a technician named Powell works quietly in the corner, monitoring energy readings from the device. His movements are precise, efficient, too efficient. No one notices the subtle iridescent shimmer that occasionally ripples beneath his skin when the lights dim. He's been part of the research team for months, absorbing their knowledge, learning their weaknesses. He is one of dozens planted throughout Earth's defense infrastructure, dormant, waiting. The Luminians lost the battle, but the war for Earth has only just begun. Their first mistake was underestimating human resilience. Their second was revealing themselves too soon. They won't make a third. Outside the facility, the sun sets over the mountains. In cities across the world, humans go about their lives unaware of the silent war being waged in the shadows, unaware that the stars hold dangers beyond imagination. But not all dangers, not anymore, because now humanity knows. And knowledge, as the Luminians will learn, is the deadliest weapon of all. In the vast darkness between the stars, something stirs. A consciousness fractured but not destroyed. A collective diminished but determined. They remember the humans now, not with mockery, but with respect, with fear. The hunt continues, but this time both sides are armed. And in the endless game of predator and prey, the rules have changed forever.